Hi, I'm Anthony from Learning to Play the Guitar. In this video I'm going to teach you about major chord variations and how to use them in songs. One of the most common questions my students ask me is how to make a 3 or 4 chord song sound interesting. There are many well-known songs that are just 3 or 4 chords, but they don't really sound simple or boring, dare I say. So the key to this is to be playing variations of the chords and not just sticking with the standard chord shapes. Two of the most common chord variations on the guitar are based around the D major chord, so just around the normal D major triangle here, which you can see as this chord. So the first one is a thing called Dsus4 or D suspended second note, which is simply taking this finger off the bottom of the triangle shape here. So we've got an open E string now, and we've got this sound, which is suspending a note over what's called the major third, which is normally this F sharp here where the finger plays on the normal D. Dsus4. The other one is his friend Dsus4, suspended fourth, the little finger then is added there to play a G note on the top of that. So these chords work well together with D in little variations. There's lots of songs that use this little variation, such as Desolation Row by Bob Dylan, Patience by Guns N' Roses, Happy Christmas by John Lennon. There's even a bit of that in Stairway to Heaven as well, as it leads up to the guitar solo. So here's a little example with the D, the Dsus4 and the Dsus2 all mixed together. So the next variation is D major 7, which is a very easy version of D major to play, which is basically one finger here burrowing across 3 strings, and again 4 or 5 strings for your D. This is a very jazzy, loungy sounding chord, which doesn't always work in particular songs, so you've got to be very careful about where this chord is used. This is featured in Across the Universe by the Beatles, for example. And so I'm going to pair this now with his friend A major 7, which is, so we could have A major, which would normally be one finger here, one above, one below would be A major. Slide this first finger back a fret here to fret 1 on the G string, which you can see there. And it's A major 7, so if I combine these two major 7 chords together, we get a very sort of light, breezy, sort of Latin bossa nova sort of vibe happening. So, for example, so now we get to A major. So with A major there's a few variations as well. Just like there's D sus2 and D sus4, there's A sus2 and A sus4. So if we start with A major, you can do A major either 3 fingers in a row or 1 in the middle in the surround. I might just do the surround version for the moment. So we've basically got normal A major there. The sus2 is just taking the bottom finger of the combo off, which would be this finger. So open B string now, which is quite nice. And the other one is sus4, suspended fourth note, which is adding a D here by sliding that finger out on the B string on fret 3 for the D on the B string. And then you can go back to the normal A. So here's a little demo where I've mixed the D with the susses and the A with the susses together. So here we go, D. So another variation of A is a thing called A6, which is pretty easy to play. It's basically one finger of A. It's a bit like the D major 7 if you like, but we're going to move it up. So we're going to cover 4 strings now and 5 strings for your A6. So it's a bit of, again, another sort of jazzy version of A. Again, this will work in some songs, and other songs it'll sound a bit too light and jazzy. The Beatles do like the A6 or the 6 chord quite a bit in some of their songs. And it works really well at the end of sort of a 50s rock and roll sort of vibe. So here's a little demo of that. So with E major, of course, there are chord variations we can use. So with the standard E major open string chord, we can do a thing basically, which is basically Dsus4. So we're just going to add our little finger in, tucking him in here on the G string, just underneath, and that's your Dsus4. There, yep. That's fairly straightforward. And so basically, little finger on and off gives little variations. This sort of chord shape is used in It's Only Natural by Crowded House, for example. That's all the rhythm guitar and the verse. A lot of those two chords. The other example here is Eadd2. So we don't really play a Sus4 so much because of the way things work on the guitar. If we want to get the pair of that, we want to now stretch all the way over here, adding this F sharp note. So I've actually got an F sharp and a G sharp together there, which actually sounds quite nice. And that's the Eadd2, which is very similar to the Sus4, but technically we've still got the third in there, so giving you that chord, so it's called an Eadd2, just to be really technical about that. So you can combine these together like that. So then another example of the Eadd2 is you can add your little finger down the bottom string here. Hope you can see that on string 1 on the floor. That's throwing that same note but up the octave, which is the F sharp down the bottom. Another little variation, just moving finger one string here, is E6. So I just added my little finger here. Another version of that jazzy 6 chord which we had for A just before. E6. So now I'll do a little demo with these chords all combined for E.